Yeah, sure. So I was just starting my sophomore year of college, and I ended up dropping out at the end of that year. And I think we met, if I remember correctly, like a few months later. And you quote Seneca in the 4 Hour Work Week, and I think that was one of the things that we connected by.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so it sort of all was happening at the same time. But Marcus Aurelius, he wrote Meditations, as far as I understand, while he was emperor. So he would have been in his 30s and 40s. He died fairly young. Um, we don't know we don't know how long he was writing the book. Like there's a few places that allow historians to date it somewhat, but we don't know like what each specific meditation was referring to or why. We just know that he was writing them usually at night, during what would only be a very stressful job that you would have to you know decompress about every day.
Right.
Um, and so for me, I like, when you go through a breakup, you are usually you're angry, but then you're also sort of not self-loathing, but you feel crappy and worthless, and you don't know what to do. And so for me, it was this idea of like look, get off your ass. Uh, this like you can make the best of this situation. Like, what are you going to do about it? So one of the things that I did when I read this book was it sort of sent me down this path of other things to read. Like he says in the book, he says like sort of go directly to the seat of knowledge, in terms of like how to learn. And
Hmm.
so he actually says like throw away your books, go directly to the seat of knowledge. So I sort of did both. I went and I read every book that I could about philosophy, about life, biographies, and that set me. I've read hundreds and hundreds of books since then. But I also, snagged these mentors that showed me like real life, and they taught me things in person. And I think that's when I learned that this idea of philosophy and like a life of doing things and being successful and working were not at all mutually opposed. I think a lot of people find philosophy and it just sends them down this rabbit hole of books, and they get further and further removed from reality as a result. And so
Right.
that this did not have that effect for me.